Thank you, Deborah. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. And what I'm going to do over the next sort of 20-25 minutes, I'm going to present some thoughts on strategically aligning buildings and estates with organisations, based on the work that we've done with our clients over the last 7 years or so, and based on some of the innovation work that we're currently doing. So I'm going to present the bulk of the presentation. As Deborah said, my name is John O'Brien. I'm the MD and founder of LCMB, business I founded 7 years ago now, after 25 years plus in construction and FM. And the concept behind our business is very much to help our clients get the best out of their buildings in terms of the return on investment for their organisations. My colleague Tom Cudmore, who's sitting at the table here, will, during the presentation, pick up a case study about a very exciting project we're involved in with the support of Innovate UK called WLP Plus, Whole Life Performance Plus. And we'll share with you some of the work that we're doing to improve the productivity, well-being and reduce absenteeism of our clients' employees in their buildings. So what I'll do over the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to us as a business. Then I'll say a little bit about, I guess, our thoughts on how to deliver world-class performance and productivity from buildings, based on the work with our clients over the last 7 or so years. A little bit about how to deliver world-class performance based on the work that we've done with Constructing Excellence. I'm the asset management chair, and over the last 3 or 4 years we've done some extensive work with serial construction clients such as Highways Agency, Transport for London, Crossrail, BAA, BAE, and I'll share with you some of the lessons that come out from the discussions with those clients about the sort of challenges they have in terms of making their buildings operate for their organisations, and their thoughts about a sort of distillation of their thoughts on how you can actually achieve that. I'll quickly overview 2 case studies, one with UCLH, University College London Hospital. Tom will pick up WLP Plus and the work that we're doing there to improve productivity of people. I'll share with you a little toolkit that we've developed over the last few years, and I'll summarise and hopefully give you 3 tips to take away that will make a difference for your organisations. So we're a business that takes buildings, which are large investments for our clients, and thinks about how we can actually improve what happens in those buildings, be it education, treatment of patients, retail, logistics, and how we can actually deliver those outcomes at minimum cost and minimum energy. So our strapline is making buildings work harder, and I think we're proud of helping to make our clients more financially and environmentally sustainable. The area where we're starting to do more work is thinking about how we can take those buildings, which are essentially factories to educate students or sell jeans or whatever it might be, and actually improve the outcomes that take place in those buildings. And as I said, Tom will share a little bit about the work that we're doing in the productivity area. Please feel free to ask questions as I go through. This is designed as hopefully a conversation rather than me lecturing, but there will be time at the end. I'm going to get a 5-minute warning, so we'll ensure that we leave 5 minutes for questions. So as a business, we deliver FM solutions for our clients. We're a end user consultancy, so we're involved in hard and soft services. That's the operational piece of the buildings, from strategic through to tactical. We do carbon and energy reduction, and principally our approach is to help our clients minimise the energy use in their buildings and think about how you actually keep stuff switched off when it's not required and switch it on and ensure that it operates at its most efficient. We have a team who are specialists in terms of optimising buildings from a sort of BEMS control and systems point of view, which is building performance solutions. And as a team, we've done a lot of work in terms of project management of large-scale construction, investor save, makeovers like lighting, CHP, integration into buildings and the like. So we have a project management and project implementation capability. We have a cross-section of clients which vary from University of Oxford. We're based in Bloxham, just up the road from Oxford, through to Birmingham International Airport. So typically we work with owner-occupiers who run large complex estates, large complex buildings. They pay the capital cost of either building those buildings in the first place or refurbishing them, and they pay the operational cost of having them cleans, maintains, security, hard FM, and typically the energy cost. So our proposition helps those clients improve the whole life value they receive from those buildings and reduce the whole life cost. And typically our clients say that we bring to them experience and capability they can't get elsewhere. And that's probably because our team is formed of people who've built it, operated it, and probably dealt with most problems. But we've all got a construction background. I myself created the Environ business as a management buyout from ABB with two colleagues and sold to Timtech. So I've got an FM background. And prior to setting up LCMB, was a main board director with Langer Hawke in terms of construction and specialist M&E. So moving on, in terms of delivering world-class performance from buildings, I believe it starts by firstly trying to agree as an organisation how the function of a building, either a new build that you're actually setting off to invest in or an existing building, supports the organisational aims. And it's surprising, based on our experience, how many organisations don't actually stand back and think about what are they actually trying to achieve from their investment in built assets. And what I'm showing here is a methodology called VALED, which was produced by Richard Saxon, who was the chief exec of BDP, a publication by Constructing Excellence in the late 2000s, which I think is a particularly good guide to thinking about how you have a conversation as an organisation, understand what you're trying to achieve as an organisation, and then how your investment in your existing assets and new assets support that. So it's about defining what you're trying to achieve, agreeing it, and measuring it. And the VALED methodology is interesting because it suggests a way of having that conversation and agreeing in an organisation what you're trying to do with your built assets. Once you've actually used a methodology such as VALED or whatever technique you use to describe value from your new or existing assets, what we typically then do is think about how you actually reduce the whole life cost of actually delivering that functionality or that value. And it's about thinking about how you minimize the capex or the capital investment that goes into the existing buildings in terms of backlog maintenance, or the capital that's going into new buildings in terms of the operational components. And that's quite a tricky balance to get right, and one that a lot of our clients and the sort of major serial clients I mentioned I'd worked with through Constructing Excellence have struggled with as well. And it's a sort of iterative process, but we're developing techniques to make that an easier thing to do. That's the sort of financial component in terms of financial sustainability. The next piece is our environmental sustainability, which typically is focused on Scope 1 and 2 carbon emissions, so reducing energy used by minimising demand and ensuring things are efficient. We've done a lot of work with clients in terms of getting into Scope 3, which is principally being led by the public sector, by NHS and higher education. So our approach is very much about thinking about how you take a building and improve its performance, but ensure that that's not done to the detriment of what's happening in the building. So, and very often we see organisations operating around buildings rather than the building supporting and being sympathetic to the operation of what's happening in the building. So it's about thinking about how the building can support what happens in the organisation to be more effective in the way that people are connected, or in the way in which they're productive, or the adjacencies, or the utilisation. Because together this actually offers the potential for a massive return on investment from the building, both in terms of the built asset and the assets, which are the people essentially, and the OPEX, the business costs in the building. And just to get back to the, I mentioned at the beginning, over the last 2 or 3 years, in my capacity as chairman of the asset management group at Constructing Excellence, we've been having a conversation with clients who purchase billions of pounds worth of capital assets on an annual basis. And what we did 3 years ago with HM Treasury was have a conversation with these clients that said, what's the biggest issue you have in terms of acquiring and operating capital assets? And those clients said, we understand what project excellence looks like because we've been there and we've got models, but we really struggle to understand what operational excellence looks like, and to have some frameworks or some templates to help us think about how we deliver operational excellence in our buildings would be helpful. So what we did over a period of 2 years was have sector-specific workshops where clients came and shared with us their learning about acquiring and operating assets, and then we captured across those sectors let's call it the generic lessons learned that those clients shared